I'm a narcissist. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. We absolutely wrote a Snow White.
It's not going to be saved by the prince.
It's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. I will elbow everyone out of the way.
It is a colossal disaster.
She comes off as an insufferable, whiny brat, and that's why people are so annoyed. You don't have to disparage men in the process. In order to be inclusive, you have to completely destroy storylines.
She was Disney's chosen one, plucked from obscurity, crowned the next great princess. And for a moment, it looked like the whole world was ready to kneel at Rachel Zegler's glass-slippered feet. But then, the fairy tale shattered, and the first crack didn't come from a critic or a box office flop or even a failed role. It came from a cartoon. The Simpsons, in one savage, unforgettable parody, took the image Rachel spent years building and torched it. Gone was the empowered princess. Gone was the rising star. Welcome back to Celebrity. It's Olivia here. What we saw instead was a self-righteous, arrogant caricature so brutally accurate, it made the audience laugh until it hurt, then look around and say, wait, is that how she really is? Within hours of the episode airing, something terrifying happened behind the scenes. Brand deals started vanishing. Big names, big money, gone. Sources close to her team say the panic was immediate. Campaigns were paused, contracts frozen, meetings canceled. Because in the world of celebrity endorsements, perception is king, and Rachel's image had gone from next-gen icon to walking liability. And The Simpsons, they didn't create that fall. They just made it undeniable.
Zegler's career now looking like it is seriously on life support.
The dwarves are an ungodly nightmare.
It's no longer 1937.
God, you're annoying.
HD TV on the wall. Who's the fairest one of all?
I don't need your business. Thanks.
What would you say to those who are just kind of overly critiquing the film at this point? You've worked so hard on it.
Get darn across. Hold on. Here. Hold on.
All right.
We've watched as Snow White has been an absolute disaster. We know that Rachel Zegler contributed to it.
It wasn't supposed to be like this. Rachel Zegler's casting as Snow White should have been the beginning of an era, an empowerment story, a cultural reset, the redefinition of the classic Disney princess for a new generation. But instead, it became a case study in how fast a star can fall when she forgets who her audience really is. The damage didn't start with The Simpsons. That was just the explosion. The fuse? It was lit during her own interviews. Every press tour, every panel, every off-script soundbite. Rachel didn't just express her version of Snow White. She attacked the original, mocking the love story, calling the prince creepy, saying the classic film was weird and outdated, as if generations of fans had gotten it wrong, and she, Rachel Zegler, was here to correct the record. And people weren't inspired. They were insulted. The internet turned. Memes exploded. The term Snow Woke was born and went viral faster than any trailer Disney had hoped would trend. But here's where things got really cold. Disney said nothing. No defense, no clarification, no we stand by our actress moment. They froze. And in Hollywood, silence from a studio that size is louder than any statement. Because when the House of Mouse goes quiet, it means one thing. They're protecting the brand, not you. Insiders say executives were stunned by the backlash, and even more stunned by Zegler's refusal to pivot. She could have softened. She could have explained. She could have shown even an ounce of self-awareness. But instead, she kept doubling down.
Take some of this upon yourself. You don't have to grovel. You don't have to beg. But you screwed up. You were given a golden goose opportunity, and that golden goose is belly up. So what do you do?
I don't know if that mirror was broken,
Ooh.
but that has to be one hell of an acting job by Gal Gadot. She looks into the mirror and she says, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?" And then they show her a picture of Rachel Zegler, and somehow she has to not burst out laughing. The biggest aspect of disbelief you have to suspend is the idea that Gal Gadot, as the wicked witch here, as the evil stepmother, is somehow less good looking than Rachel Zegler.
That's the dumbest thing I ever heard.
We're not all blind. We can still see. Gal Gadot is a beautiful person. And Rachel Zegler is a fairly good-looking person.
Behind the glam of red carpets and the sparkle of Disney crowns, there's a world most fans never see. The brand boardrooms, where millions are decided with a signature, where image isn't just important, it's everything. And for a brief moment, Rachel Zegler was gold, a Spielberg prodigy, a Disney princess, Gen Z's answer to Zendaya. But when The Simpsons aired that razor-sharp takedown, brands didn't laugh. They panicked. Sources close to the matter say 2 major fashion labels, both rumored to be negotiating deals with Zegler, pulled out within 48 hours. A skincare line paused their campaign indefinitely. And one fragrance company, ready to launch a bold new campaign with Rachel's face front and center, ghosted her team entirely. Internally, her reps went into triage mode. They offered discounts, bundled pitches, rebrand ideas. But it was already too late, because those interviews, the ones where she trashed the original Snow White, downplayed romance, and scoffed at tradition, weren't forgotten. They were looped, clipped, attached to headlines like, "Is this the most unlikable star of the year?" And brands? They don't invest in controversy unless it sells. With Rachel, the math didn't check out anymore. The risk outweighed the reward, and the whispers began circulating, soft at first, but now undeniable. Too difficult to manage, too unpredictable, not worth the gamble. One Hollywood PR agent put it bluntly, "She's toxic for endorsements right now. No company wants to be the next meme."
Snow White was brought back to life by a lady doctor.
And she lived happily ever after?
Well, she couldn't indulge in strenuous activities like handball, but otherwise, she was fine.
Idiot I've been as a young person in this industry who has no filter and no idea what she's doing.
Like, who has been the most exciting person for you tonight?
Oh my God.
Took the words out of my mouth.
Inside the walls of Disney HQ, Snow White was supposed to be a sure thing. A legacy title, a progressive twist, a bulletproof cash cow in a golden ball gown. But now, that dress might as well be made of glass, because it's cracking under pressure, and every studio exec knows it. Sources say the mood behind the scenes has turned from optimistic to full-blown damage control. Private screenings were reportedly met with mixed reactions. Internal projections are down, and marketing departments are being told to re-strategize everything, from trailers to international press. Why? Because Rachel Zegler is no longer seen as the face of a modern fairy tale. She's the face of PR liability. Executives are scrambling to shift focus away from her and toward the ensemble cast. Talk of delaying the film's release is real. One insider confessed, "Every plan we had, gone. The tone has to change, fast." Merchandising partners are stalling. International markets are hesitant. And what was once poised to be a global cultural moment now risks becoming a quiet embarrassment. It's not just about a bad press tour anymore. It's about a lead actress whose actions have threatened to collapse an entire marketing ecosystem, something Disney has spent decades perfecting. And the harsh truth? They can't afford another flop, especially not one tied to their most sacred intellectual property.
People have real problems and no one gives a shit if she got paid for 17 instead of 18 on her multi-million-dollar salary, which is not calculated by the hour.
For Rachel Zegler, the fairy tale ending might already be off the table. Because in Hollywood, the lights don't go out all at once. They flicker. A paused deal here, a canceled shoot there. Suddenly the phone rings less, then it stops ringing at all. And that's exactly what insiders say is happening now. The girl who once had Spielberg in her corner, Disney at her feet, and the media in her pocket, now she's facing a silent freeze-out. Casting directors are whispering, studios are holding off. Even streaming platforms, once eager to scoop up fresh Gen Z faces, have started quietly rewriting shortlists. Because Zegler didn't just make a mistake, she refused to acknowledge it. She didn't pivot, she didn't apologize, she didn't read the room. Instead, she treated the backlash like noise, just another storm to ignore. But Hollywood isn't built on ignoring, it's built on perception. And once the narrative shifts, there's no PR agency powerful enough to pull you back. Her downfall didn't happen because of one joke or even one show. It happened because she wouldn't stop writing her own villain arc. So now the industry asks itself, do we risk the brand? Do we bet on a comeback? Or do we let her drift and move on to the next ingenue who knows how to play the game? No one said it out loud yet, but they don't have to. The silence is the verdict. So now it's your turn. Is Rachel Zegler a victim of online hysteria? Or did she self-sabotage one of the most promising careers in years? Hit subscribe if you're here for the truth behind the image. Tap the bell, because the next starfall, it's always closer than you think. This isn't just a story, it's a warning.